Yes, good evening to one and all present here. Let us wait to join the participants for 5 more minutes and then we will start. Good evening, one and all present here. Let us start with the meeting. Very few participants are joined.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening.
Let's 1 to 2 more minutes to join all the participants. No problem. Good evening. Let us start with the day 4 of the ATAL-FD online FDP, recent trends in AI and DS. Let us introduce first our eminent speaker, Mrs. Kirti Digolkar. She is a senior faculty member from the Pune Institute of Computer Technology, PICT Pune. Her area of specializations are natural language processing, cloud computing, and data science. She is having 20 plus years of teaching and academic experience at PICT Pune. She is also had certification of IUCC CEE, that is International Engineering Educator Certification Program, which is given under Engineering Education Research course. Mrs. Kirti is highly experienced academician with more than 2 decades of teaching experience at PICT Pune. She has strong expertise in natural language processing, cloud computing, and data science. She reflecting her commitment to teaching experience, excellence, outcome-based education, and engineering education and research. As an expert speaker, she brings strong theoretical foundations, practical insights, and effective pedagogical practices to AI and DS FDP sessions. I welcome you, ma'am, and hand over the session to you.
Thank you, Deepali madam. Thank you. Thanks a lot for kind words and inviting me for the session. I hope your participants will get some knowledge from me. I'll try to give as much as possible. Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am.
Yeah.
You can start now, ma'am.
Yeah. Whether the slide can change? Can you see the change?
Yep.
Right. So, good evening, all. In our FDP session, my fourth day, I'll be presenting on Introduction to Natural Language Processing. So, myself, Kirti Digolkar, I'm a faculty of Pune Institute of Computer Technology, Pune, PICT Pune. And let's start with the session. So, everyone knows about NLP, everyone talks about NLP. So, just a simple slide specifying where you will need NLP, what are the applications of NLP, right? So, where I use NLP in my Alexa, I use my NLP in my mobiles, maybe a Siri or any of the voice notifier which replies me, right? So I need it in case of information extraction, speech recognition, text summarization, and everywhere. Everywhere, in fact, it is a today's incidence where the election members or the electoral poll is going on in Pune, and the person was not able to type my spelling properly, and she spontaneously said, just use your voice and you will get the name very easily. And that's where, right? So use of NLP is everywhere in our day-to-day life. And let us see the basic concepts before using the NLP. Let us see the basic concepts of NLP that we must know, right? So as per the session content, I'll be talking about the tokenization in natural language processing. I'll discuss about the embeddings and the algorithms related to the text classification. Specifically, our session is about the text. We are not talking about the video or the audio, right? So the NLP. To introduce NLP, I'll be talking about NLP pipeline. What are the basic steps that we require in a pipeline? the real world applications, as we have seen the glimpse on a first page. Then we'll see vocabulary, tokens, features, and the labels. What are these key terms used in NLP? Then different NLP approaches. What are the different approaches that comes under NLP? So as just an introduction to NLP, let's see the uh, pipeline. So as you can see very well, it is defined on a Geeks of Geeks, and that's why I have taken this image to explain the pipeline. For any of the application, the basic is the input. So the text input or the data collection is the basic pipeline entry point for the NLP. Then after working on the input or the type of a input, the second step that comes is the text pre-processing. So what pre-processing and what are those things that we will see. After that, after pre-processing, the next phase of the pipeline is the representation of the text that we collect. Then the third step is the feature extraction. So what are the information that we can grab or we can generate from the text data that we have. After finding the different features related to it, we will next, or we should go next for model selection and training of that model. So that is the fifth step of our step pipeline. Then the sixth step is the actual model deployment and the inference of that model. After deployment, we check the evaluate and we optimize the output that we have, whether we get the correct output or we have some biases and all stuff. That is done in a seventh step. And the last step towards the pipelining is the improvement step. So go on a iteration wise, train the model again and again with the better inputs if we have training data set, and then go for the better outcome. So we may talk about that, yes, these are the steps which are there similar to maybe the machine learning, but no, steps or the names are maybe similar, but the NLP, it has a somewhat different processing. So let's talk about the different steps in a proper manner throughout our session. So where you need the real world applications of NLP. So all these applications we discussed, but nowadays we are in a phase where we need our NLP even in a healthcare. So maybe I need an application where I'll upload my own symptoms, and I expect I should get some diagnosis out of it. Or even the doctors expect that before approaching the doctor, the patient, they can go through some of the symptom test and all. So healthcare is upgrading, as we know, and we need a help of maybe the digital technologies for the healthcare, and that's why NLP is going to play a bigger role in all these stuff. Then the second step is a second application where we require our NLP is the education technology, right? As the education is growing, and from last 4 to 5 years, we are into an era where the digitization of education is uh, tremendously it is used, and that's why education in ed tech, we we will see the role of NLP very well. The next two or three examples that I have listed is identifying the fake news and the misinformation detection. So in this era, you have seen multiple times where there are fake images or fake information is circulated. So we need to find out some of the solution for that, and NLP or the entire process of NLP is going to help in out. Last one and not the least one, as our government or any of the government of any of the country want to connect with their uh, users or connect with their citizens, we need some of the application which will talk to them, which will act with them in their own language. So multilingual, or maybe the uh, application processing in Indian language is going to play a bigger role, and that's why I have listed all the applications which has upcoming uh, areas or research areas, I'll say, right? Code and technical language processing, yes, it is our one of the main area where we need all these things. So acquisition of a text, now we are talking about NLP pipeline in terms of a text processing. So the acquisition or giving the data to our application, right? So it is collect the data in any of the raw format that we have, right? It might be having your spaces, it might be having your some of the words which we want to filter out, like maybe the space, extra spaces and all those baggages. So after insertion of the data or data acquisition, the second step is the text pre-processing, where we try to clean and normalize. We split the text into different tokens, one of the basic or the important phase of the NLP. After tokenization, the next step is to normalize all those content or all those tokens. Once the content are tokenized, say suppose in our word we have a information at the end or on a status bar saying we have 1,000 words, you have 1,200 words, or you have 80 words. So the tokenizer will help me in generating all those words, right? Then the normalization of that text, where the repetitions and all the contents are removed. In our one of the slide, we are going to see how the text is normalized. After that, we just give this entire information to one of our model, which we will train for the some specific outcome. So we decide or evaluate which model we should go for. After that model, we train the model on some of the specific data, and we try to find out some features out of it. So here you can see the model is for identifying the features also, and maybe the model that can be used, or you might have seen in this FDP, the models are used for some different purposes. So here the use of the model, you can see it over here, is specifically for the identifying the uh, tokens and its factorization. Again, one of the algorithm that we are going to see in our slide. Then after processing on these text with the help of a model, we will convert them into a numerical data so that our ML algorithm will work, or it will give us a better output. And rest of the processes is to just improvise the content. So as you have seen, the basic model or basic pipeline, it evolves or it has many steps or many features in it. Let us see all these one by one. So let us talk about one of the basic concept of NLP, that is the tokenization. So basic features that are required or are involved in your NLP is the corpus, or you can say it as the data set or the text that we will give it to our model. Then the second one is the tokenization, or dividing the content into token. A vocabulary, as we know, the word vocabulary is
నాకు తెలియదు ఎప్పుడు
collection of all the
ఏంటి
words
అప్పుడు ఖాళీ పోయాను
that
పేరు
has been
మెరిస్తే
created from
కొత్తదేమో
the corpus.
కొద్దిగా వస్తున్నాం.
Dear participants, can you please? Yeah, thank you. Right. So, a concept of a corpus or the tokens, it is about how a data which is given as an input is converted into small chunks. So these chunks are called as a token. So we can call corpus as the set of a input given. A token, we can call it as the separate chunks which are generated from the corpus. A vocabulary, we can call a vocabulary as set of all the tokens which are unique. The word feature, the feature, it represents some of the information related to these tokens, and the labels are the some specific feature attached to that text or the token. You can see the labels are also, in NLP we call it as a tagger. So as you can see, a small snippet I have included over here, where a sentence is converted into a set of a tokens, and those tokens are assigned with some of the tags. So just a small snippet where a text is an array of token. We have this snippet is in, it is in a Python, as we know. So a word underscore tokenize is one of the function available in NLTK. What are all these? We'll see it in our further slides. Here, just for your small information, I have written one sentence, add now for something completely different. So these are just a collection of words which are given, right? And when you execute this particular function, it will generate a list of tokens which will be stored in the variable text. Now, on this variable text, we can apply various functions. So one of the function which I have used over here is POS underscore tag. So POS underscore tag is attach some features to it or attach some tags to it. So as you can see, the output generated is for the token, and there is some word CC is attached. To word now, there is some word RB is attached. For this for, IN is attached. As you can see, it is the key value pair kind of a thing we can call it. For something it is NN, for completely it is RB, and for different it is JJ. So by using just two line of functions, what we have generated is and is the conjunction. CC, we have used it as one of the tag. So it is coordinating conjunction. RB, you can call it as now is a adverb which is used in this sentence. We can say that in is a preposition, sorry, for is a preposition where we have used a word in, sorry, we have used a tag in. Something is noun, completely is RB, right? Again, it is an adverb, and different, it is just an adjective. So by using the tokenization and by assigning a tag to it, we can just generate a set of an information. So in case of your NLP, as the first two phases of our of our pipeline, what we try to generate is to just divide the given input into a separate small token and assign a tax to it. So as an introduction to natural language processing, we will see how these things can be generated and what are the different approaches to generate this thing. So there are several approaches. Three basic approaches I have listed over here. So for processing of natural language, we can have a rule based processing, we can have a statistical based processing, or even we can go for the deep learning. Rule based, where you can say you have fixed set of a rule, and on those basis only the evaluation will be generated. In case of a statistical, we can just have a set of a rule and a probability is also included in that. And in case of our deep learning, your large data in combination with a neural network will help us in processing the natural language. So as you can see the comparative slide of this, so a knowledge source for rule based natural language processing is a set of expert rules. For statistical, it can be a data plus probability. And in case of a deep learning, it can be a large data plus neural networks. So why we are looking into all these contents? Because this will decide the further steps or the evaluation of the pipeline. Then when I want to create a features out of the given data, in case of a rule base, it has to be done manually. In case of a statistic, it has to be done manually. And in case of a deep learning, we do it by using the automatic. So your model will generate it. Context handling, in case of a rule based natural processing, it is quite poor because we have limited rules and accordingly we need to act. We don't have a space to move around. Statistical, it is somewhat limited, and in case of a deep learning, it is quite an excellent. A rule based natural language processing applications are not scalable, they are limited. Data required is very less in that case, but interpretability in case of a rule base is high because the limitations are fixed. They are limited with the resources that we have. For example, if I need to convert any, or I need to judge whether the syntax of given statement or given code base is correct or not, I can have my rule base. I can have my, if I want to check whether the code snippet which is in a C++ language, whether it is a proper or not, the rule are fixed, the sorry, rule for those language are fixed, and it will give me high interpretability in that case. Whereas in case of all other models, the interpretability is little bit less because the corpus is big and the data generated or data acquired both are on a high scale. But in case of a performance, your rule base is having limited sources and limited outcome. That's why the performance is less. Statistical, it is medium, and the deep learning, it is quite a high. And that's why, as we know, we are moving towards, or all the applications are using the deep learning. So as we have various techniques in tokenization. So as just now we have discussed or we have seen in our slide, a given sentence, a given set of a sentence or given document can be divided into some of the keywords, right? Based on some rules and regulations. And this is called as tokenization. So let us see the tokenization, or what is tokenization. A tokenization techniques are based on, or they can be worked on word, a single word level tokenization, a sentence level tokenization. We can have a subword tokenization, as well as we can have the character level tokenization also. There are various tokenizers available in Python, as well as in uh, Python we have various libraries by using which we can have the different we can use the different tokenizers. These tokenizers work on either the white spaces used between the sentences. It works on the number of times the token appeared in the data, or even by comparing the generated token with the global data set, even the tokenization can be done. So there are many libraries available. Some of the libraries that I have listed over here is NLTK, SPACY, and the Hugging Face. Each library is having its own strength. So if possible, uh, participants, please take a screenshot and we'll try to execute this code in our Python. So as listed, a given corpus can be tokenized into various types or various tokens. If we can see, the first is where we have the character tokenization, where a text is having word hello world, and this hello world is tokenized into single character by using one Python method called as list. So as you can see, tokenized underscore text, a variable, it holds a list of text. So a list is a function method available which will generate a character by character token. So as you can see, even it has generated a white space. The second block, it can show a word tokenization, where a given text is splitted into the words. So as you can see, a split is a function, and here we have used some information on the basis of which the split has to be done. So here I have used a white space on the basis of which we can split the token. So we can have multiple things. You can use a comma, you can use inverted, and many more things for splitting the text into multiple tokens. So as you can see, the outcome of this tokenization is it has generated the two words. And now the most important, which is there in our uh, last box, it is on the basis of a subword tokenization, right? So a subword tokenization, it is a BERT tokenizer. It is a transformer, or it is a part of a BERT tokenizer, where the tokenization of a statement is done on the basis of some generalized rules and regulation, where whenever possible the word is divided into two subwords, where it can be merged with something else. As we can see over here, in case of the statement or the text that is given, this is an example of the BERT tokenizer. As you can see, it has divided into all the small chunks. This is an example of the BERT, but the word tokenizer, the model has divided it into two sections. One is the token and another one is hash hash IZER, right? So the subword tokenizer, it divides the text into subsections, where one word can be a meaningful word, and another word, it is a combination of that subword. Now, this is the most important evolution we can say in case of a tokenization, because till now we might have, or everyone might have used the word the tokenization, but this plays a bigger role because it has generated a bigger corpus. So uh, in many of the words we use some uh, subwords like parallel, parallelly. So all these things are having some word common and the other subsection are varying. So sub word tokenization is helping us in identifying these tokens. So this is the most important thing in case of our natural language processing in tokenization of the input that we give. So there are various libraries which are listed over here and which helps us in identifying or generating the different tokens, right? So the first one, characterization, it uses separating out the character wise. Other than that, we have an module where a regular expression or regex is used for separation of the words. So the second one that we have seen is the built-in method which is available in Python. It is split is used. Then we can use, or we use, NLTK, Natural Language Toolkit, which is one of the plugin or one of the library of the Python, which is the best library for the basic NLP uh, tools, which has basic NLP tools. Other than this, there is one more library available called as SPACY. So the library is written in Cython, Cython. So SPACY, it generates the token on the basis of a concept of a object oriented base. So as we know that we can have a class and we can create an object of that, similar kind of a concept is used in SPACY, SPACY. Then after that, one of the best tokenizer is the Hugging Face, and the last one is the Keras tokenizer. So Keras tokenizer, it handles the subword tokenization very well. So subword tokenizations are handled by Keras, it is handled by BERT, or even Hugging Face tokenizer is also having all these things. The difference in all these libraries, it is about the corpus that it is having, or it is about the uh, base that they have, whether it is using a neural network, the CNN, RNN, or any kind of a base that they have. And that's why all these three uh, libraries, they play a vital role according to the application, according to our requirement. It We should go for any kind of a library that we have, right? So this is about the tokenization, that how the tokenization has to be done. Take a input, apply any of the methods that we want, or fetch the tokenizer, use a transformer, and then tokenize it according to our requirement, as a BERT is used over here. Or we can go for a Hugging Face, or we can go for a Keras also, right? Now the second step towards the processing, it is embedding. So the first step was the corpus input we have given. The second step was the tokenization on the basis of some rules and regulations as per our requirement. And then the third step is of the embeddings. So embedding, it is the process of conversion of a collection of tokens into some meaningful thing called as embedding. So what embedding or the definition of embedding says, it says the process of mapping non-vectorized data, for example tokens, into the vector space that captures semantic meaning and the relationship. So I hope you can now relate with this page where the token generated from the tokenizer are assigned with some of the tags, and later on these tags or this key value pair will be converted into a vector space, because for our any of the machine learning model, the data that we require will be a numeric data. And that's why embedding, it plays a vital role in natural language processing. So the data generated from our tokenizer is further given to embedding, where we will generate a vector space and we will find out meaningful information and relation between the tokens. So there are again various ways of embedding. So embedding, which is a vector representation of the text that we have. So there are two basic traditional embedding methodologies. One is bag of words and another one is TF-IDF. So the TF-IDF, it works with the frequency count. We'll see it. And for the embedding, there are some modern embedding algorithms or libraries that we use are word2vec, Glovex, fast text, and the contextual embedding. Let us see some of them one by one. So why we need the vector representation of the text? So if you can identify, we have a collection of words in some of the areas, and we have the single words listed somewhere all along the plane. So if you can see over here, we have a train, bus, or a car forming one group. We have on, in, with, it is forming a group. In this area, we have I, we, they are forming a group. And somewhere these two words, these two words are somewhat near to each other. So vector representation of a text will help us in identifying the similar meaning words, or the words which are used in similar references and all this stuff. Now, the examples that we have seen over here, these examples are of our day-to-day life. But similar examples we can have about the healthcare. Similar words or set of words we can have about the education related. Say suppose I want to have an application which is maybe specifically for my agriculture, so it will have the similar options listed over there, right? So this image is just to showcase that how my embedding will work. Let us see how, what are the different. This is one of the example where again it is a vector representation. So as you can see, we have the words, like I have a word king, I have a word man, I have a word queen, I have a word woman. So we have generated an information of all these keywords. What if I can relate, or I can have a king and a man relation, or some connection, a queen and a woman connection, or if I can have king and the queen relation. So as you can see in the one of the example written over here, after the vector composition, if I have some information which will say that a woman is there whose relation is with the king, there is no man in picture, so my natural language processor, my application should be able to derive a relation that it should be a queen, right? So my vector representation will help me in all these kind of compositions, right? So let us see the different embedding techniques. So I hope you have you are able to understand the why the information we are trying to compose it in terms of vectors. So your natural language is whatever you will list down in your language, you should be able to derive the information, and that's what the representation is. So the traditional or the basic embeddings, it was bag of words, and another one is TF-IDF. So the bag of words, it is a model which only converts the words into the, sorry, given sentence into the simple words, and one by one it represent it by using numerical representation. So if I have 1,000 lines in my corpus, it will directly convert it into the 1,000 numbers, nothing else it will have. It will not check for the repetition, it will not check for the frequency, how many times the words are used. So I hope the participant will be happy to uh, execute some of the code lines if possible, right? So just give me a minute, I'll share my entire screen. So is it okay if I share this my collab file with you? Whether I'll be able to do it? Is it okay, participants, if I share it? I'll share it by using our. I hope I'll be able to do it. Just little bit of a inconvenience as I hope the file is available with you. You can just upload it in your collab and we will let us execute it parallelly, right? So as you can see, the first step that I have listed over here is the just the text acquisition. So a simple input is given, and with that input one more information is given as label. For this processing, we will need one library to be installed. If it is not there in your collab, we can just use the NLTK installation. So pip install NLTK. Just this basic uh, file, it shows just one sequence of all the pipelining steps. Just go on executing and you will be able to see it, and that after that we'll switch to our embedding again. So after the first acquisition, acquisition, we can just go on for text pre-processing. As you can see, in case of this one, we are cleaning our text for maybe the white spaces and all, converting the text into lowercase or whatever may be the format we require. Right now here we are using the lowercase, right? Now after the cleaning of our content or after pre-processing, the third step is of the tokenization. So as you can see over here, I have used NLTK, natural language toolkit library, available with the Python. And just a tokenizer is used to tokenize the content. So participants, if possible, just try to execute the things on your side so that even it will be interactive and it will help to just follow all the steps of NLP pipelines. Once the tokenization is generated with our third step, the fourth step is of normalization. So in NLTK library, we have various corpus available. So one of the corpus of stop words is also listed over here. So as you can see, all the stop words of English language are used, and we are trying to normalize all the data which is available in our text. So the information was listed over there and we are just using it. So the tokenizer which is used, even it is of NLTK, after tokenization, a basic embedding of TF-IDF is used. So one of our next slide is about that. So TFID embedding is used for the feature extraction purpose, and very basic, the simple code is written over here, nothing big is listed. What we have done, we have three line of statements as an input. We have some labels assigned to it as 111. It is our choice to give 1100, and then we have applied all the steps of the pipelines, basic functions which are available in Python and NLTK library are used. So after tokenization, TF-IDF is converting the data into the vector format. So the if you will execute it, you will get some output out of it. The sixth step is of a model building. So we can use any model for just finding the output. This is very basic multi-nominal INB model which is used. So just for the sake of executing the pipeline which is used, execute the model, and we can just deploy our model for the outcome. So if we try to predict the given text, it will give us the output accordingly. So as you can see, after deployment of the model, we have evaluated it, and now this is a process for testing the data, right? So just I have added, kindly update, kindly use your input and try to execute the code. So let's switch to the traditional embedding. So as I said, bag of words, and the second one, which is term frequency inverse document frequency. So how the embedding is done is the number of words and its frequency in the given document is calculated. After that, we calculate the rareness of words across all the documents. So TF-IDF method, it calculates the frequency as well as it calculates the inverse document frequency also. So number of times the word is used and the number of times the word is rarely used across the document. So on the basis of this TF-ID, the more relative information can be generated. So as you can see, this is one of the example uh, which I have used from one of the book. So I have three sentences: good boy, good girl, and third sentence is boy, girl, and good. So these three words it is having. So we try to find out TF, so number of repetition of a words in the sentence divided by number of words in a sentence. So a term frequency is calculated, whereas again inference is calculated where we calculate log of the number of sentences upon number of sentences containing the word. Let us see an example how it worked. So see the table of a TF, term frequency. So we have the word good. In first sentence we have only two words, and that's why it is 1/2. In case of a second sentence, again we have one word good, and it is 1/2, whereas in third sentence it is 1/3. So like this, likewise, we have calculated the IF and the IDF. Now, what is the use of these things? So as we know, embedding is used to generate a vector, a matrix where the same data is represented in a numeric format. So there are various methods which are there by using which the word embedding is done. I would like to show this one of the presentation over here. It is just give me a second. Yeah. So this is one of the best animation I was able to find out online. Uh, this is about generative AI existence, but I'm not showing this for this purpose. I want to show it for just the embedding. So see how embedding is done, right? So we have a sentence. I hope it is visible. If anyone can tell me, I have shared my screen, but
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
yeah, thank you. So as
Yes,
you
yes,
can see,
visible, ma'am. Visible.
thank you, thanks a lot. So this is a best animation. Even you can use it for your students also. So this is about the generative AI, but we will talk it in. We'll see it from the embedding point of view. So we have a sentence. We go to work by train. So according to our pipeline, this word is divided, sorry, this input or corpus is divided into some tokens, or we'll call it as the basic units. Now after generating this into the tokens, these tokens are mapped with nearby words. So it is identified that where this work, where all other words, they are relevant in the global corpus. Now this since this animation is for generative AI, it is comparing it with the global corpus. So how the embedding, you can see the left hand side, it is talking about the LLM and all those stuff. So how the embedding is done, as you can see over here, the work and the creative, the work, dove, and all these type of words are related, or they are mapped with each other. So the embedding is about finding the relation between these two. So, for example, sometimes we can utter a sentence which is positive, as well as it can have a word which is negative also, right? So, the meaning of that sentence, it depends on the sequence in which the words are used, right? And embedding is going to help me out in all this stuff, right? It is just for the purpose of embedding. So how the vector is done, now this is not about bag of words, this is not TF-IDF, but these are some of the advanced models uh, which are used, maybe related to maybe using neural network or BERT. So what is done, we try to find out inference between the word work and all other relative words. And this relative words will generate a set of probability over here, which will be used to find out the meaningful outcome of it. the, as we always say, the relevance has to be perfect, and it is by using these things. So just a simple presentation, sorry, animation, which is already available on net. So I have used that only. So whenever a sentence is processed, the sentence is identified or related with all these kind of a numerical vector which is available depending on the library that you are using, right? NLTK is a very basic or fundamental library which is using or which is used mainly for the educational purpose, I'll say. All the other Hugging Face, your Keras, or BERT, all these are used according to the application and how much, uh, what you can say, what is your application area. So depending on that, we need to pick the tokenizer as well as the embedder, right? So these are the modern embeddings which are available. So word to vec, it is the Google generated mm, embedding system. Approach is predictive with neural network base. It is based on CBOW, so it is continuous bag of words. The traditional bag of word model, it generates the just set of words, but this CBOW, it continuously monitors and generates the relation or vectorization between the other words. So pros and cons of these: word to vec, it works with the local data, very less exposure to the global context, efficient on the given data set. Since it is not relating, so it is always better if I have my fixed input, fixed kind of a input, and output that I expect. For example, the chatbots written for specific purpose, then word to vec is the best option for them. Then this is Glowy. So Glovex also, some people say, it is generated by the Stanford, right? So as you can see, in case of a prose, the example is the same which I have shown in earlier slide. So since it uses the global statistic pattern, that's why it is able to identify the relations like this. So if I have a king, and if I'll say minus man plus woman, it should be able to find out the relation as yes, I mean to say it is queen, right? So surely it uses the best statistical data, but we need a quite a good processor, or the memory usage is quite too much. Now fast text, it is Facebook AI research generation, you will say. It works on subword identification, or the approach used is subword information, right? So as we have seen in tokenizer, the word token, and the another word is hash hash zizer. So similarly, if you can see it over here, the word is running, and this running is divided into meaningful components. So it can be run, it can be unn, then nni, nin, ing. So if there is a word runner, then the runner can be very easily mapped or related with this set of a corpus, right? So a concept of a sliding window is used, where by using the sliding window, we can generate a vector of different words. So if I want to find out a subword in a bigger, mainly it is used in your information retrieval and all, the sliding window. So that concept of a sliding window is used in fast text. So the factor calculation is based on n-gram or the concept of a sliding window. So this is one of the best embedding. But as you can see, the last pros and cons. So in case of a cons, house and horse, these two words, the embedding here, we may lose some information or we may get some wrong answers, because for house and horse, the uh, footfall of these two words are quite a similar, so it may misclassify the word, it may classify horse under the house only. So these are some of the lacunas, you can say, in this case of a subword information. I hope the concept of a subword or the concept of embedding is understood. So I will just suggest to execute some of the snippet where the NLTK library and SPACY, these two libraries can be seen comparing with each other. So as you can see over here, here we have used a library of NLTK, and the second one here I have used the word, the library SPACY. So I'll just share some of the, I'll share the Python file with you. Kindly try to execute it. So this is just a simple snippet to identify or to just see how the embedding are done. So this cell is about implementing bag of words. So how the bag of words are generated. So this is just a simple function which is written over here, as you can see, where vocab and a list of sentence, these are the two things which are given. So vocab is the vocabulary array that is listed. Now we are talking about, or we are working on very limited data set, and that's why it is listed like this, doc sentences. So convert the text into the lowercase, treat all the sentences as a single sentence, remove the stop words or generate a, or you can go for pre-processing. The better word is go for a pre-processing and generate a bag of words. So bag of words or TF-IDF, these are the models, or these are the methods which are used specifically when I want to uh, have some limited kind of a information, you can say, about that application. So there are just basic steps that we apply if I want to generate a vector using bag of words. Compile data, we go for pre-processing of the data, then develop a list of all the words and generate a score out of it, right? It is very useful. The bag of word is useful when you have limited kind of feature extraction. So whenever I want to find out the document similarities, for example in case of a spam detection, or if I want to compare two documents whether they are similar or not, bag of word, it helps very well because it is simple and easy to execute it, right? So if possible, just try to go for it. So if we need to find out any of the specific language, whether in which language it is written, so for these kind of attacks, task, bag of words work very well. So I hope up to this, the NLP, basic NLP or the pipelining things I was able to convey. Now the most important part of the NLP, applying a specific algorithm on that, or the text classification algorithms. So there are various algorithms available, and depending on our approach, which algorithm we want to use, depending on the application where you are using it, we can go for, right? For example, if I want to work on legal documentation, if I want to identify whether is there any similarity between two legal documents, then in that case maybe my mm, basic ML algorithms like naive Bayes or logistic regression or SVM will help me out. But if I need to identify that whether there is some modification done in the legal documentation format, so in that case the deep learning approaches, deep learning models for the text classification, it helps a better way. So as you can see, maybe the keras or maybe the hugging face will help me in identifying the tokenization and embedding, and the BERT based algorithm will help me in getting a perfect accuracy. So the different evaluation matrix also plays a big role in using the text classification. So depends on how you want it. So a simple, again, I have one more code snippet, I'll say. Where, as you can see, a text is listed out over here. One is having 4 line of a sentences and the labels that are there. One is specifically for the positive and 0 is for the negative. So as you can see, my first 2 sentences, they are somewhat positive, and the last 2 sentences, they are negative, so marked as a 0. So by using TFID, TFIDF, the tokenization is done and the labels are used. So as you can see over here, a transformer is used for just dividing the text into the small chunks, identifying frequency of those words, repetition of those words and its inference. So a vectorizer holds all this information. Now this vectorizer and the labels, the text array generated and the labels, these two in combination is given to a very basic machine learning algorithm, right? So for the building purpose, we have used these two sets, and to find out the accuracy, you can just predict it by using any of the statement. The similar kind of a code, very basic code is listed over here just to identify the statement, right? So this is one of the snippet where the BERT is used. So as you can see, these two line of a code, it is having just a simple change in a word. This FDP session is very informative. Or another statement is this FDP session is not an informative. So as you can see, the labels which are generated out of it, they are positive for the first sentence, and for second statement it is the negative. So just one line of a word change is giving me different outcome or different labels. So the deep learning model, it helps us in identifying the sentiment analysis very well. So depending on our need, we need to decide which algorithm we want to go for. Right? If required, I can just share the code of this one also, but not a very different thing I have used. It is just for the sample execution purpose, how the different model works. It is just shown for that. Right? This is the simple model. And this is a deep learning. So with this, I'll just stop with the uh, content of today's session, introduction to NLPs with maybe tokenization, embedding, and some of the algorithms which are used for the text classification. So
Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful session. Participants, do you have any queries?
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am, for wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. I'm just not able to, yeah, switch. Yes.
You can stop sharing the screen, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes, any queries, participants? Either you can post your queries in the chat box as well.
Hi, ma'am. Very nice session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, please kindly share the last code also, please.
Yes.
Okay, I think that there are no queries. So I request all the participants to kindly switch on your camera for taking the group photograph. Kirti ma'am, I request you to please stay here
Yes, ma'am.
so that we can take your photo as well. Kindly mute yourself, all the participants. So the feedback link has already been shared in the chat box. You can fill the feedback from the chat box only.
Thank you, madam.
So thank you all the participants. Uh, so in the end of the session, ma'am, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to you for delivering an insightful and enriching session on the NLP. Your explanation on the fundamental NLP concepts along with the practical insights has greatly enhanced the understanding of the participants. The session has significantly contributed to achieving the objectives of this FDP. We are grateful for your time, efforts, and the dedication which you have devoted for sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Thanks a lot. Thanks for inviting.
Thank you so much,
I
ma'am.
hope, I hope
So,
I am able to at least deliver a little bit towards contribution, towards the knowledge contribution. Let us see.
yes, definitely, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So we will be starting the next session at 7:30. Till then, you can fill the feedback form and your attendance forms. Our next expert will be joining in a short while.
है तुमने पढ़ो
Yes, sure. We will share all the PPTs with the participants at the end of this FDP. Definitely, we will share all the code as well as the PPT of all the experts. So now we will be starting with our next session. Our session expert has already joined. So let me introduce you to our next session expert, Mr. Nishant Modi. He is working as a technical lead at the Globant Solutions in Pune. His area of specializations are the Python programming, generative AI product development, cloud-based AI solutions, AWS, and the Google Cloud platforms. Mr. Nishant has 11 plus years of professional experience in the IT industry with specialization in Python-based development and Gen AI and solutions. So he specializes in building the scalable and the innovative Gen AI products and the solutions for the global clients, including the leading market vendors such as AWS and Google Cloud. His expertise includes developing the AI-enabled applications, integrating the LLMs, and delivering the secure, high-performance cloud-based AI products. As an ATAL FDP expert, we are sure that he will bring the hands-on industry insights and the practical exposure in Python and the Gen AI technologies. So, sir will be conducting his session on the built a chatbot using the Gemini and LLM in the Indian languages. So now I'm handing over the session to the Nishant sir, so you can start with the session.
Thank you, madam. It kinds of feel little strange to hear sir from our madam, because I was one of the student of madam. But thanks for the introduction. And firstly, a warm good evening to everyone. Um Today, I will be kind of covering on the topic, which is building educational chatbots using Gemini for Indian languages. What basically we will be focusing in this particular session is trying to understand a little fundamentals about how large language model works into the society, exploring why Gemini is a good option and what is the support that it provides to us, uh, trying to build some designing architectural workflow around it. And we will be then doing some hands-on activity where I will be showcasing you how you can uh, collab with Google and Python and kind of have a chatbot which will just answer your basic questions or your students' questions. And at the end, we will just see how we can strategize AI to implement future implementations. Okay. Uh, so at the start, we will just go with the one of the basic topic, or I would say just a basic intro of the things, which is evolutions of our AI system. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Okay,
Yes,
great.
Yes,
yes.
sir.
So yeah, great, great. Yeah. So see, in 1960s to 1990s, what usually used to happen is like when the initial coding mechanism was there, we used to write a simple if-else logic, which kind of, if you see the latest developers or latest students still try to follow that pattern. And as the time evolved, as the our earlier speaker Kirti ma'am was explaining, we kind of shifted towards statistical NLP. Now, statistical NLP kind of gave you a little more power where you identified what were the keywords and how those can be used for further processing. Next, in around 2010s, we kind of went towards neural networks, where we got introduced with deep learning and some RNN and LSTMs based frameworks. And in the recent times, one of the what we say great innovation we had was the transformers, where transformers came up with a mechanism where they used to take a token, and based on the token, they used to predict what the next word is going to be. And that led us to one of the amazing foundational models and the technologies, that is generative AI. So in short, what is generative AI? Generative AI is nothing but just taking your old last token, and based on it, generating a new word or predicting the next new word into it. So that is how generative AI works. Now, coming, we can go in the theory and try to discuss the theory, but I would like to skip the theory part and would like to directly jump to the main core problem that we were discussing, or that we are here for, right? And that is why AI in education. Now, at least when I was a student, I used to face this challenge that whenever my teachers used to explain me something, and if I had a doubt, let's say I'm going at my home, I am revising what was taught, or maybe I'm just writing down some notes, and I faced an issue. Okay, this is something which I'm not understanding. I have to wait till the next day's lecture to understand the solution, or basically to understand what is being asked for. So over here, what AI kind of provides us with the capability is like you can introduce a personalization layer where every AI will kind of become a teacher for you, or basically as for a teacher, it can become a co-mentor for you. So this way, an individual student will have its own learning curve, and that will also be helping, that AI will help him to understand a particular topic based on its own pace. So you don't need to kind of put all the eggs into a single basket. Each egg can understand what its technical capabilities are, and based on it can go ahead and can, what we say, learn its things. Secondly, it is like it provides an accessibility, because if you see currently, let's say I was fortunate enough to come here and learn new things, but for another of my friend which resides in a remote place, it becomes difficult for him to come and learn the same topics in the same way which I am learning over here. But what AI provides is like it gives you an equivalent accessibility. So anyone, irrespective of the location or region, it gives you that opportunity to learn the same thing and be on an equal platform. 24 by 7 support, which definitely means like I don't have to wait for my next lecture. I can just go, I can just read what my doubts are. I can try to have a word or have a conversation with my AI, and it gives me instant solutions outside of my lecture hours. And resource scaling is like based on the new upcoming features in the generative AI and agentic world. Currently, we have one-on-one mentorship, but it can be definitely expanded to a level where there can be 3 or 4 subject matters together sitting and kind of explaining me one topic in the terms of AI. So this is why I feel that AI is an important step in education, and most of the teachers and students should start using it to not only enhance their capabilities, but also to make sure that the learning curve or the learning phase is very easy for the students. Moving to the next point, what opportunity does India provide? Uh, Now we have one interesting opportunity which I don't see in lot of my customers or in lot of my market players, is like India is having more than 22 official languages. So if you go around and if you see that a person speaking English might be asking the same technical question which a person speaking Marathi might be asking, their way of communication might be different, but what AI provides you, or what basically the problem statement here comes is like, how can I answer a question, let's say in Hindi, in English, in Marathi, maybe in Tamil, in Sanskrit, any language you say, right? So it might be a good use case. Like in Maharashtra, we have, let's say, English, Hindi, Marathi, but suddenly this application moves to, let's say, in the south part, and you have to speak maybe Tamil, you have to speak maybe Kannada, and let's say it moves to the north part and you have to speak in, let's say, Punjabi. So what AI all these Indian languages, and you can kind of get back your answer in the same language that you are asking the question. That way, the gap of understanding gets reduced to a lot of extent, and And what it also does is like it gives you a familiarity of how to understand a concept in your own language. So that is a great opportunity we see in the Indian market and basically in the Indian education system. Okay. Now, as we move ahead, we will be soon having a demo where I will be showcasing you how we can use Gemini with Indian languages. The technology stack that I will be using for this particular demo is I just tried to keep it very low scale. So from backend perspective, I will be using maybe Python 3.10, 3.11, whichever version is fine. From computational point of view, you can run the notebook on your local Python environment or basically on your local laptops. Or if you want, you can just run it on the Google Colab online. It doesn't take any what we say GPU or any accelerated memory. Just it goes with your basic CPUs. One of the key thing that we might need is the API key, which is basically the Google or Gemini API key, which I will showcase how you guys can acquire one API key and can start using it. Okay. Uh, I'm hoping it's not too fast for you guys. If it is too fast, just let me know so I can slow down and maybe can help you guys in that way.
No, it's okay.
If not, I will just continue with this pace. Okay, great. So, why Gemini? Now, many of you might be asking, there are many market players. Some are maybe Google, some is ChatGPT, some is Hugging Face. Maybe there was Anthropic, Cloud, Grok. Like every day, new player is coming into the market and claiming that, okay, I am the smartest of the AI. Let's use that AI. So, what is an advantage which Gemini provides and which is not available in other marketplace? And that is the context window, basically the tokens. So in the last lecture, you understood how a token or how a word is being formed. Now in the world of AI, everything is dependent on token. So every player that is what we say charging you is charging based on this token. So what Gemini gives you is a capability of 1 million plus tokens. That is approximately uh, maybe if I try to put it into words, 50 to 80 page PDF. That might be around 2 to 3 chapters of your textbook, or in some cases, it might be the whole textbook itself. So that is the power which Gemini provides, and that is something which, as a maybe teacher or as a student, one should try to utilize it. Now, the standard models, the other models which are there in the market, usually they provide around 128K of the token size. Some of them may be a little generous, they go to 256K. But no other player in the market is that big that will provide 1 million, or currently I think they have updated it 2 million of the token size. So that's why we will be going ahead with Gemini, at least for this demo purpose, and maybe for some applications. That way, Gemini will be, and we can showcase what are the capabilities of Gemini. Okay. Uh, so before going ahead, I will just quickly showcase you how to get an API key. Okay. Uh, what you guys can do is you can go to aistudio.google.com. Uh, so someone asked me, what about ChatGPT? How many token it use? So ChatGPT provides 128K token, and after that it starts. It has a moving window. So as soon as your 128K token gets utilized, it starts sliding ahead and it starts forgetting the old data. So that's why you will see that when you have a long chat, it won't be able to remember what was happening at the earlier. They are trying to improve that window size, but I don't think they have reached to a large extent. They are currently at 128K. Okay. Uh, so I have pasted the link of this what we say website. So what you can do is you can go to aistudio.google.com. You will be kind of landed on this page. You will see an option of get API key. Now here for purpose, I already have my API key configured, but you can see an option of create API key. The moment you say create API key, you can name your API key as you want. And maybe if you have a project, you can just import that project, or you can say create project. The moment you click on create key, you will be showcased with an API key on the screen. Copy that API key, keep it safe at some place, and that's it. You don't need to pay anything. You don't need to kind of put an initial recharge or anything. And that's simple. Like you can go ahead and use this API key for any coding or any notebook collab that we are using in the future. Okay. So this is how you can get this API key. If anyone has any doubt of on getting this API key, just do a quick Google on how to get an API key from Google AI Studio. They will give you all the detailed steps over there also. Or if not, maybe at the end you can contact me and I can help you out later. But now coming back. So what we will be doing in this is like I will be showcasing you a notebook. Maybe I can share that notebook with you guys also. Uh, just a second. Downloads and participant. Send. Okay. Repeating the API key process. Go to aistudio.google.com. Over there, you will see a section Get API Key. Click on Get API Key. If you already have a API key generated, it will be shown over here. Else you can click on Create API Key. Creating an API key, it will ask you to name your API key. Maybe you can name anything that you want over here. And it will ask you to import a project. You can select a project if you already have, or just say create a project. It will be free of charge. It won't be charging you. So just click on create key. You will see a API key listed over there. Copy that API key, keep it safe. That's all. Now coming to the notebook that I have shared, what basically we will be doing in this notebook is phase one, where we will be setting our API key and our environment. In phase two, we will be kind of passing a persona, uh, and where we will be using a technique called as prompting. In phase three, we will be iterating it into a loop where a chat will be happening. And in the phase four, we will be testing it with our original language. So this is how our live demo will go in this session. Okay. I have already shared the notebook in the chat. Uh, but again, coming back over here, maybe you guys can follow it along. It's not, I tried it to keep it very simple so that anyone on screen can just take a screenshot also, and maybe later they can go ahead and can do a coding also. So should not be an issue. Uh, so the moment you go to Colab, that is colab.research.google.com, you can create your own code, your own text. Now coming to this notebook, what we did is like first we installed the Google's Gemini package. So Google has kind of released a dedicated package for Python, which is Google GenAI. So we will be using that package. Over here, we are just importing that package, and the API key which we got generated just now, we will be passing this API key over here. So just replace the API key that you got over here, and that way you will be able to go ahead and run this cell, run and execute this cell. Okay. So just make sure to click on this play button every time. So like on every cell that you are going ahead, click sure you are click on the play button. It should show a green tick next to it. Okay. If it executed properly. Once you paste your API key and this cell is ran, you can move to the next cell, where we will be just doing a simple check if this connection is actually successful or not. So I said over here, okay, this is the model I'm going to use, Gemini Flash latest. And I said, hey Gemini, respond me one sentence about AI. And I will be just printing the text format of this response. What it does is basically it goes back to Gemini using your API key. It fires this query to this model. Your model goes in detail, provides some token optimization, token working and everything, and comes back with this response, which is AI is rapidly transforming industries and refining capabilities of machine learning to learn and solve some problem. Okay. Now, this response might be different for each one of you or might be same for each one of you, because what we are using over here is a generative AI. So generative AI's main capability is to generate a new word every time. So you might see, okay, I got this response, but for some another person, there might be a slightly different response. Okay. So don't get panicked if you see a little different response. Now, coming ahead, what we will be doing is we just created a small function which is the core of our chatbot. So basically what we are doing here is we are saying which model we are going to use, and then as a parameter we will be getting some prompt or basically some instruction that we are going to pass to this model. Okay, and whatever the model comes back with a response, we are just going to return that response. This is the simple function which this Python function that we wrote about. Okay. uh, Now coming to our main persona. uh, I'm sure many of you might know what persona is, but just giving you a little background. uh, AI, or basically Google Gemini, is kind of an AI who knows about a lot of things. Okay, so if you try to ask him about certain things, it will respond back in a certain way. But if you want a more accurate answer, we use a prompting technique called as persona. So persona is like where you define a role, define a task to the model, saying, okay, you are going to be an expert of this particular role, and this is the task that you are going to perform. So that way, what happens is your model kind of understand what role I am going to perform, what is the shoes I have to step in, and what is the type of answer that I have to give back. That is how. So what we are doing over here is we are going to provide an educational tutor persona. So basically, it is like I said, okay, this is your role where you are an expert, and I will be passing my subject dynamically. So what this gives you an advantage is today it might be, let's say, computer science, tomorrow it might be geography, and day after tomorrow it might be, let's say, operating system. So what it will do is whatever subject you have passed, it will take the role of that persona. It will take the persona of that role, and it will act like an expert of that role. So it will be you are an expert of that particular subject, professor, and your task is to explain the following question for undergraduate student. Now here I have explicitly mentioned what is the audience that you are focusing on. Okay. Maybe you can say he might not be undergraduate, he might be a school going student. It can be a 3-year-old student, it can be a 5-year-old student, it can be maybe a IT faculty. Whatever audience that you are targeting, you can kind of just mention it over here, and it will automatically take the persona of that role. Okay. Now there are some rules and instructions that you want it to follow. Okay, some might say, okay, use simple language and simple examples. I don't want hyphen to language, or maybe I don't want some unnecessary jargons to be put. Just plain simple language and give in that example. And in this you can add any number of rules or instruction that you want for an LLM to follow. Okay, it's not just limited to one, it can be to any number. And at the last, you are passing the question, like what was the question that was asked. This whole prompt gets compiled and it is passed to our educational chatbot that we created earlier. Okay, so these are the crux of these two functions that we are seeing over here. Uh, One of the quick demonstration of this capability is I said to educator tutor, like database normalization kya hai. Okay, and the subject or the professor that I want him to take the role of is a DBMS. So what it does basically, this question gets passed to in the query and it gets replaced over here as a question, and this subject gets passed as my subject and it gets replaced over here as my professor. This builds a new prompt completely. This prompt gets passed as my prompt over here, which eventually gets passed to my main function or main core chatbot function, which gets asked to my Gemini. This is how your whole architectural basically application flow goes ahead. Okay. And it came back with a response saying with a proper greeting like Namaste Chatro, and it gave me a proper explanation of what is database normalization. Okay. It kind of had a mix of English words where because I didn't mention him explicitly to hard coded or basically to follow the language that I'm saying. But Gemini is so smart that it understands what is the natural language question that you have asked in, and it will try to respond back in the same language. So if you see our prompt, I have nowhere mentioned that reply back in Hindi, reply back in Marathi, or reply back in the ask language. But it is the technical capabilities of Gemini to understand it and to reply back in it that way. Okay. Another instance is maybe we spoke in, let's say, Marathi, right? So we said Python function समजून सांगा. Okay. And the professor that you are going to be get treated is maybe programming language or a programming professor. What it does is like it takes the role of Marathi and it kind of explains everything in a Marathi language. Now consider this as from a perspective of a student who is not that very strong in English but has a good strong hold in Marathi. Maybe someone who has learned from, let's say, a Marathi background, right? He might have a few jargons or few words which he might not understand in English, but the moment he asks it in Marathi and the explanation received is in Marathi, it becomes easy for him to understand it and to process it. That is the way or capability we can use an AI. And at the end, we can definitely go and ask it in English, where I can say, don't explain me anything, just generate any 5 MCQs on operating system. And what it does is it automatically takes a role of a professor over here and says, okay, today we are focusing on these fundamental concepts. And here are my 5 questions, where you can say, you can see that question one is this thing. And it gave you the correct answer also, if you see what is answer over there. Then secondly, what is the next question? So this way you can kind of tweak with any role that you want your persona to take away, and it will work in the same way. Someone might say, okay, give me bullet points of how an operating system works, or basically how a RAM works, and it will reply you back in bullet pointers. So this is the power, or this is the basically the strength of using AI, or basically using Gemini AI. Now, one observation which you guys, participants might have seen is like this is just one-on-one conversation. It is not a chatbot or maybe a iterative conversation, right? So what we saw till now is we completed our phase one where we initialized our application. We saw a teacher persona where we gave him a prompt of a teacher and it came back and it replied back to us. Now let's start and put it into a chat loop. Okay. So what we did is we have a new section which is chatbot with conversation history. What it does over here is we have a function chat with history, where we pass what is the history till now, or basically what is the question that user is asking, the user message, and the subject. Okay. The only difference you will see from this and the previous code is like I have introduced a list where I append a certain role, that is my user, and as a part I am sending what the user's text message is. Okay. Apart from this, I'm not doing anything else. I'm just appending my chat history, and that's it. Now my prompt got slightly modified, where it still passes what the expert professor is. It still passes what my task is for my designated audience. It still passes what my rules are. But now instead of saying what my question was, I am just saying, uh, yeah, I am just saying what the conversation happened till now. So that way, I am saying that if my role is user, I am referring as student. If my role is, let's say, agent, I am referring as professor. Okay. And then it generates a prompt where I get a full kind of detailed one, like all this prompt, and then what was the conversation that happened till now, and it gets appended. Now the response that comes from my model, it also gets appended to my history, but with a different role, that is model. So how it goes, how will be, how, let's try to visualize it. Okay. So in the first say, we say starting a new conversation. Okay. And my student has asked a question, what is a CPU? Now this question can be in any language. It can be in Hindi, English, Marathi, or any 22 Indian language that we support. Okay. But for the sake of the demo, I have kept it to English so that you guys can understand how the flow is going on. So first question my student asked is, what is a CPU? Now it gets sent to my Gemini. My Gemini came back with a response saying, Professor, this was your turn one, and this is your response. Next, instead of asking a simply different question, my student asked me, or basically my student asked the chatbot a follow-up question saying, explain its main components. Now, if you see over here, he hasn't mentioned whose main component he has to explain, or what is the topic of the conversation, because it assumes that my model will know what was my topic that I started at the top, and this is a follow-up question on it. So here he asked, explain its main component, and then I will get a response after professor turn 2. And then at the last, he switched to a completely new question, which is, how does RAM work? And then my professor will respond back. Now, every time my history will get kind of appended, kind of get bigger, and it will be kind of sent together. Okay. So let's see how the response came back. It started a new conversation. If you see here, it was, what is a CPU? So the response came back. Okay, this is an excellent foundational question. This is the CPU, and it kind of explained what a CPU does to every kind of details that an undergraduate student should be aware of. Okay. And at the end, it summarized it. Okay. Basically, what is a CPU and why it matters. Okay. This was the response till, I think, the first phase. Okay. Till here. Now, there was a follow-up question, explain its main component, whose response is in turn two. And here the turn two starts. So what it does is, this is an excellent request. Now let's focus on main component of how the CPU executes, right? So it automatically understood what was my first question. It kind of took a follow-up on it, and it started explaining on it. So this here, it starts explaining what is a CPU, how it process, and all the technical details of it. Okay. And again, at the end, it gives you a summary. Okay, like what was the conversation that we were having and what was the topic that we were having. Now we shifted to a completely new question, which is, how does RAM work? And what you see over here is, it kind of understood, okay, you have understood the knowledge of CPU. Now let's try to understand what the RAM works. And it also understood what was the difficulty that you were having earlier. And based on it, it is trying to explain it in that way where you can understand the RAM, but also its main components over there. So this is the power of an AI, where it not only understands what your initial question was, or what is the context of the question, but it also understands what challenges you faced, and based on it, it will go ahead and modify its response. Now, let's say you kind of built an UI around this particular function and just expose it to your students. What will happen is, your student gets a 24/7 access to a professor, where he will understand what the question is, and instead of getting dependent on the professor, he can himself go and ask to the chatbot and get a response back. What it also gives you an opportunity is where you can be a little creative, and you can understand or you can speak with an AI that, okay, you know that normalization is kind of an difficult subject in DBMS. How can I be little creative and send it and explain it to my student? These are the capabilities, or these are some of a glimpse that you can use AI to kind of go ahead and solve some problems. Okay. Now, as we are coming to this session, I thought maybe what other tools are there that can help a professor or that can help a teacher. Okay. Now, one thing which you guys can definitely take a big advantage, or maybe a student can take advantage, is they can go to gemini.google.com. Okay. And over there, if you go under tools, you see an option of guided learning. What guided learning does is, if you mention any topic over there, it kind of goes uh, through and fro with you to kind of explain you a particular topic. So it acts like a teacher. It comes back and it explains you in a way how a teacher explains to a student. So it won't just go and bombard you with the whole knowledge, but it kinds of have a conversation with you. So that way you understand what the topic was. Okay. Uh, Another one is maybe one of the interesting application available in the market is Napkin AI. Okay. So Napkin AI, basically what it does is it converts your text into an infographic. So let's say I had this agenda kind of with me. Okay. Now, if I had pasted this agenda in my PPT, what would happen? Like, some of my student might have looked into it, some of student have might skipped into it. But the moment I put it into Napkin AI and I say, okay, generate some UI for this, what it did is it created a creative infographic with the exact data that I have asked for, in such a way that anyone who is not paying attention to my lecture will certainly give a glimpse and see, okay, yeah, this is the thing that I'm looking for. And it will understand what is going to happen over there, right? So this is some capabilities that you can see using Napkin AI. Again, one of the most upcoming product in the market is Gamma, where you can generate a whole PPT based on just the text that you are giving. And whatever websites that I'm showing to you, it is free of cost. There are no charges involved into it or no pricing involved into it. So you can definitely go maybe explore it and maybe use it into your daily or what we say learning curve that you have. Okay. Uh, Coming to the second part is like how this AI can be a useful resource for the faculty. So faculty can have a persona tuning where we can define what is the role that the faculty is going to take. Maybe he can be a strict mentor or he can be a friendly TA. And that way the topics will be explained in that particular way. Okay. You can say subject anchoring, where you can answers to a question which is there within your certain limits or certain syllabus boundaries. So a first year student might not be aware of few concepts, but if he starts asking that question, he might not be able to understand it. So you can start putting guardrails, you can start putting anchoring. So that way your bot knows, okay, I am explaining to this person who is in first year, and this is what his syllabus roles are. Okay. It can help you for scaling, maybe for explanation level. Like explanation to an undergraduate student might be different, which is as compared to the postgraduate student. Okay. And at the last, you can use the what we say this chatbot to maybe engage it to assess particular topic. So you can have your class kind of log into the chatbot, and you can ask the chatbot, okay, take the what we say question and answer of, ask like 10 questions, and your student will reply back, and based on it you will assess whether he is able to understand a particular topic or not. These are just few customization which a faculty can do, or basically an ideas which you guys can use to make your day-to-day teaching and learning more AI rich. Okay. As I showed you, there was a multilingual which Gemini offers, and it can do it with any programming context that you have. Uh, at the end, I would just like to touch a little on Hugging Face. So similar to Gemini, there is Hugging Face, which is kind of basically a model hub where it gives you access to open source model. So Gemini is not an open source model; it is a closed source model. But if you want some open source model, you can go to Hugging Face. It will give you access to open source model where you can use some custom data sets. You can use it for benchmarking. You can do it a private model deployment or even private model training, and you can collaborate with maybe another projects or another institutes for fine tuning your project. This is one of the most upcoming platform, and maybe it can be a good guide of how to use Hugging Face for all these purposes, right? uh, I was mentioning earlier, what are the educational use case from the student perspective? It can be a coding assistant where it helps debugging and explaining logic to IT students. It can be a language tutor where it explains a particular topic in your local language, and it can also be an exam prep where when you are confident, okay, I know about this topic, go ahead, just ask me, shoot me some questions, and it will kind of give you answers. What it benefits to the institution is uh, students satisfaction level gets increased, so that way now student feels that he is in more power, he is in more educational space where he knows what is happening. It also gives faculty the time to not just focus on a particular topic but also make it much better, and your resources get optimized. Your unnecessary data or unnecessary resource kind of gets stripped down, and you are just explaining the stuff that is actually necessary for that particular topic. Okay. At the last, the key takeaway is like augmentation. AI is a very good teaching assistant. uh, I won't say that it is a place or it is a replacement for the faculty expertise. Like whatever knowledge a faculty has, AI does have that kind of knowledge, but the personal mentoring or the personal learning which a faculty provides, that might not be possible with augmentation. That might not be that great of possible with AI. Multilingualism, as said earlier, native Indian language, every AI is not that strong to kind of respond it back. So there are few players in the market who knows how to do it. Some are still learning it. So multilingualism is there. Data privacy, yeah, you are going to have. You should definitely follow API practices where your students' data or basically your personal data also remain private. Don't try to overshare with the models, as that data might be used for training purpose. And it's always an iterative process where you do one thing, you learn the findings, and then in the next session you start again from the top where you start the course again. Okay, so that is how the iterative designs usually works. Mostly I would like to kind of now open the space for any question and answers that you guys have. And I would like to express a sincere thanks and gratitude for giving me this opportunity to explain this kind of a little subject to all the people over here. Thank you.
Excellent presentation, Mr.
Any
Modi.
questions? Feel
Yeah.
free.
Um,
Yeah.
I want to ask one thing. Basically, nowadays, as a teacher or as a professor, when we give the assignment, complex queries, or the project, anything, then the students are easily get the solutions through the AI. Different AI tools are available, right? So it's very
Correct.
difficult to like we know that it is prepared by the ChatGPT or the Gemini or such kind of tools. So how we can
Correct.
design the query that is easily not solved by the students with the AI tool, and they have to learn by force, you can say.
Yeah, so that is actually a very good question, sir. And what I would say is here, what you are doing is you are competing with AI, saying that, okay, I don't want you to take my role, I want you to follow my role, right? Which is not something that will be possible because AI has a lot of knowledge, capabilities into it, and student kind of go ahead and misuse that capabilities. But what you can do is you can come up with a certain kind of test, or you can come up with certain kind of what you can say random chatbot evaluation, as we mentioned, maybe a chatbot session, where you can, instead of asking student to go ahead and come back with answer on this particular topic or do this session, you can say, okay, go ahead and speak with this chatbot who will evaluate you on a particular topic. What this will do is, as a chatbot admin, or basically as a chatbot configurator, you can say, I want to make sure my student knows this particular concepts. So the question that will be asked will be kind of dynamic. So the student can't predict it. The moment it is happening into a secured environment, maybe your college network, or maybe your college laptop or your system laptop, student doesn't get a chance to go out of the system and ask the question to another application, right? And third, if the chatbot comes back and say, yeah, you got 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, that gives you a confidence enough that my student is that knowledgeable enough to understand this concept and reply back to an AI and get satisfactory answer. So this is a way where you can go and you can kind of twist the learning process, where student just not depend on AI, but AI kind of helps you in mentoring and answering back the questions.
Right, right. Thank you.
I hope I was able to explain.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, how to develop this chatbot in, yeah, not an issue. How to develop this chatbot in app? Again, I have shown you the notebook. This is kind of just a coding way of doing this thing. Any HTML code you can build around it, and it will be kind of converted to a UI chatbot. But the main crux remains is like, you have to have a list where you are appending some roles and everything, and this gets converted into a full prompt. Okay. Because of generative AI, students are not reading reference books. They are not taking effort. They want everything ready-made with the AI or not that perfect. It even misguided in some situations. Yeah, that's correct. And that comes with the experience. So as a faculty, you know which are the topics where an AI might also go wrong. And that is the strength which a knowledgeable faculty has as compared to an AI also, because AI tries to hallucinate a lot at some times and might teach the student something wrong. So this is where you can use an example both with an AI and not with an AI, and teach the students, like, it's good to read about something, but it's not good to skip the reference book and just go blindly and kind of solve anything. So that is how we at least we go ahead and do it. Any other question, guys?
Excuse me, Nishant sir.
Yeah, ma'am.
Can we differentiate between
Hello.
the Gemini chatbot, your Chat GPT, and Meta AI? Miss, which
Yeah.
better?
Okay. So that gives you that is a very interesting topic, madam. So see, every AI is kind of subjected to a particular zone. So if you are into something creative space, Gemini is kind of your go-to solution, because Gemini has a very strong and very creative capabilities. When you are into a coding, or basically when you are kind of trying to write an production grade application, Gemini might not be that strong, and there comes maybe Anthropic, or what we call as Cloud. Okay, so what Claude does is it has such a great capabilities. Maybe I will see if I can show you Anthropic. Yeah. Uh, so this is Claude. You again, you get this free. You can say try Claude. Just log in with your email ID. Uh, I will log in with my email ID, and that should be it. Giving it a minute. Continue. And that's it. So what Claude provides you is, instead of other models where it just gives you back text, Claude codes on your behalf and can come back and say, okay, here is the solution. So if I say I have a application with Python function that do chatbot talking. Okay, it's eval tutor, and it takes prompt and subject, and maybe I can say history. Okay, now generate a UI around it. And the moment I click enter, I don't have to go and learn a particular coding language and start implementing it. What it does is it opens a UI at the right side. It kind of codes on your behalf, and it comes back and shows you, okay, this is my UI. And all you have to do is you have to just copy it, take it to your local, paste it, deploy it, and you are ready to go. But what it also brings as a challenge is, if you have any issue, how are you going to debug it? So first thing is, you can definitely come here, ask it, and it will go back and it will debug it. But if you see this, it's just plain, like you are selecting your topic over here, and you can ask about it anywhere. It will be getting linked to your function that you are calling, and you will be getting back the response. And all, if anyone wants to look at the code, you can just say copy, or you can say download, and that's it. You have the whole code kind of ready to go. Okay, this is where cloud is good. ChatGPT, again, one of the popular use case was image generation. Like, I believe everyone around here might have generated a Ghibli image of there, right? So ChatGPT was very great image generation. Now Gemini is trying to catch it up with their Nano Banana, but every model, as I said earlier, every model has something, one or the another thing, which is not other models forte. So you need to understand what is your use case, and based on that use case, you need to understand which model should I proceed ahead with. Okay,
Excuse,
which
sir.
AI tool can convert the, yes, Sunil?
Excuse, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah.
we can use Gemini for a new chemical structure development or drug development.
Yeah. So one of the popular use case which Gemini had is like 3 years back. They kind of participated in a international level chemical competition. If I'm not wrong, it was some, I'm not able to recall its name. Okay, but what it does is it helps with the visualization part. So if you say, can you explain me uh, water chemical formula in 3D model? Okay, all you need to do is go click on canvas, because it allows them to generate a canvas, and it comes back, it constructs a model, and it adds some visualization into it. What this gives you as a capability is like, let's allow it to kind of generate the uh, code around it. Mm, and the moment you click on preview, you can see a 3D representation of that model. Now currently I asked about H2O, which is which is water, right? But you can put any complex chemicals formula, and it will be able to kind of explain you how that particular things. And it can also do a zoom in, zoom out, where you can also be able to attach this chemical composition with another stuff, right? So all you need to do is just ask a model, and it will be going ahead and doing it for you. So now that technical capabilities have reduced to a lot of extent, and your cognitive capabilities need to be increased, where you understand what is the question that you want to ask and how you want it to be represented. So I should be very clear what I am asking for, that is water chemical formula, and how I want it to be represented. So this is how you can do it for a chemical purpose. Okay. Uh, is it okay if I use Claude to code my research algorithms? Yeah, you can use Claude to code your research algorithms. But one of the things you should be very focusing about, especially in the research algorithm, is the whether it is going in hallucination. Like till what point it is following your instruction properly, and till what point it is trying to guess the data. Because sometimes what happen is like model understands certain things, model doesn't understand certain things, and it start guessing the data. So you need to be very careful about that part. But yeah, you can definitely use Claude to code. It should not be an issue. Uh, Prompt engineering. For prompt engineering, there is a prompting guide. Yeah. So this is a very good website, which I personally follows, and I would definitely recommend all the others too, which is promptingguide.ai. Over here, you will see all the detailed concepts of what is basically a basics of prompting, how a prompting works, how basically an AI works, how an LLM works, what should be done in the formatting, and everything. And it also introduces you to various prompting techniques like zero shot prompting, where you don't pass any example. Few shot prompting, where you are passing certain examples to explain to the AI how it should work. Chain of thought, maybe if you see a classical example over here, you give a maths problem, AI is not able to solve it. But if you explain how to solve that particular problem and give another problem, AI will be able to solve it. And similarly, there are n number of techniques that are available, which you can learn and can use uh, for for your coding. Okay. And this is the website. Maybe I can just paste this website in the chat for everyone. Okay. Which AI tool can convert the code and give exact UI design in an image format? Both of them. You can use either Claude, it can kind of generate you an HTML code. You can take that code, you can paste that code and maybe save it as a image. Or if you want a particular explanation that you want to do, the earlier one which I was showing you, Napkin AI. So just go over here, paste your concept over here, and that's it. It will kind of visualize that website for you. Okay. Which tool we can use for writing research book? Research book, again, you can use ChatGPT and Gemini as a combination, where ChatGPT kind of gives you the topics that you want to discuss, and Gemini, you can pass a singular topic to it, and it will explain in detail what it needs to do, right? But when it comes to writing a certain article, or when it comes to writing a certain thing, you need to be using a little bit of your human creativity and put it into proper words. One of the question which I usually get asked is, how can I detect if the solution written is AI or not? Okay, so there is a free AI detector in Quillbot. So this is the website Quillbot. You just go and just type AI detector. Okay. Now, if I say hi, sorry, hi, I am Nishant and wrote this article for you, and I say detect AI. So what it does is, it kind of, okay, it says add more words. Yeah, I am lazy with that. Okay. And it says, yeah, this doesn't seems to be an AI. Okay. But if you go to, maybe I can go and say, give me 10 lines on AI education. So this can be your topic maybe for your student. Okay. Your student was very smart. He went ahead, he went on Gemini. He just did this and he just said, okay, copy paste. No brainer, nothing. Let's say it did copy paste. Okay. And now if you say detect AI again, what it does is it says, okay, there's a 100% possibility that this is an AI. How it understands whether this is an AI or not? based on the concept that earlier we learned, token. So it tries to break these words into tokens and see if it matches the exact token match. And the moment you see, yeah, this is getting matched as exact token, it understands, okay, yeah, this is an AI. Now, if you want to bypass this, like if you want to say, I don't want to this to be an AI, there is again an option of AI humanizer, where it what we say purposefully add some words which will kind of sound like AI. Okay. So if you see here, it says instead of revolutionizing, it said transforming education by increasing efficiency. So it kind of breaks that word into certain way how a human would respond back. So this one website can help you with lot of things like AI detection, AI chat, AI image generation, AI humanizer, anyway that you feel. Okay. I think uh, sir, kindly suggest a website to check the percentage of AI content on research paper. Yeah, definitely this website, AI detector. You can kind of just paste the content over here and it will say how much of them is human written and how much of them is human plus AI and how much of them is just AI written. Okay. Uh, can we use only ChatGPT for research support? We can use ChatGPT for research support, but again, that defeats the purpose of that research activity, right? Like, what is the gain that you are going to have it? So basically, just research some topics on it, and if you feel that you need more information, ask Gemini. By the way, if you are a Geo user, you have 1 year of Gemini free. So you don't need to pay anything. You just need to go on Geo, and over there you can just subscribe to Gemini for 1 year for free of cost. And similarly, I think for ChatGPT, it is free for 1 year. So yeah, go ahead, take use of it. Can you please highlight about Stealth Writer? I myself am not that aware of Stealth Writer, uh, but you can
Hello, hello,
definitely
am I audible?
ask a prompt
Hello,
over here.
hello. I have asked this
Yeah,
question
yeah, you are audible.
on Stealth Writer.
Yeah.
I've used this. That is actually instead of using chatbot or other uh, tools, that is Stealth Writer actually used for humanizer. I have used this. So does it actually transform text like human? That is my query.
Yeah, so see, sir, whenever you say Stealth Writer or basically any application that transforms it, so what it does is it breaks the words that is a perfect token into something which is not a perfect token. All the game of AI is on token, right? So the token is kind of break into it. So like we saw now, one word is kind of altered into a synonym, which usually a human would do. And that's where this stealth writer will come into picture, where it kind of just rewrite your content into a little humanized way. Now, again, it might be AI generated only, but it makes it little difficult to get detected. That's the
So,
complexity.
after transforming, would it be rejected by AI similarity?
There's yeah, there's still a possibility that it might get detected, but the percentage will be very low. So if you see maybe this
Uh,
Quill bot, even if I write a perfect data, it might still say that this is
but
AI written, but the percentage will be very
but
less. Like it
but
won't
it
be
sometimes
100%.
claims that 100% some text is given. It claims 100% humanized or 80% humanized or 90% humanized like that.
Correct. Yep. It still will go ahead and will say it is still 80% or 90% humanized because it has broken down that token which was there in your perfect solution into a similar words.
Okay.
Do we need subscription of Krillbot to use all the facilities provided? Ideally, no, you don't need a subscription because if you see, it kind of provides you certain scans free for a day on your or for a certain period. Like if you see, it gives you 10 scans or 7 scan free for a day, which I think for an initial level that is enough. And if you are going to use it very frequently, uh, maybe you can go and think about subscription. It again depend use case to use case. Okay, we can use AI for new drug development and formulation. Yes, Sunil. Actually, Gemini is doing that. Gemini is using uh, their technical capabilities of AI for new drug development and formulation. And then that drug is kind of created in the lab, and then it is being tested on maybe another animals, and kind of coming back with the results. This is kind of revolutionizing the medical field. And there is a YouTube video on which they have explained how they are doing this. uh, Gemini using, sorry, Google using AI for new drug. Sorry. And just for you. Yes, I see. Like some, and this was the article that I was referring, that it won one of the major scientific challenge, and it came first. So yeah, Gemini is already doing it, and they have kind of made it open source. So you don't need any license, anything. Just go there, ask the question, and it will help you with the drug generation. Okay. Any other question, guys? I really like the question. So if anyone has any question, feel free to ask. Napkin AI, yeah,
Okay,
I
any other
showed you
questions,
this one.
participants?
Can AI, yeah, I can see one question. Can AI use of agriculture commodity of pesticide reduction food and fruit or spoilage? Yeah, so currently if you go capability video and all that stuff, and it can analyze that video or it can analyze that image. Now that result might not be very 100% accurate, but it might still give you some insights which a human eye might miss. So yeah, we can definitely use agriculture AI for commodity or maybe pesticide residue. So one of the popular use cases which my wife kind of usually does is like she goes to supermarket, she opens her Gemini, and there is an option of called as live. She kind of just hold it over there and says among this fruit, which one is the best to pick. And then Gemini tags 1 2 3 4 5, and she says okay, select this fruit, and then she brings back that fruit. So this is a good example of how AI can be used in your daily life. So but yeah, definitely you can use that for your day-to-day purposes. Okay. uh, any other question? Okay, I take that as a no. But if anyone has any question, here is my email ID, that is modinishan90@gmail.com. Feel free to drop me your question or any resource or any discussion that you want to have, and I will be happy to respond you back. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nishant sir, for this wonderful session. I request you to stay connected here. I request all the participants to please switch on your cameras for the group photograph. Would like to thank Nishant sir. We extend our sincere gratitude to you for delivering such a meaningful session. Your comprehensive explanation of the chatbot and the practical demonstration using Gemini AI and the discussion on the use case for the academic support and student engagement that provides the insights to all the participants. Thank you so much for delivering such an impactful session.
Thank you, madam. Pleasure is mine.
Thank you. Participants, the link for the attendance has already been shared on the chat box as well as on the group. So tomorrow on the 5th day, we will be having the 2 sessions, which will be starting from 6 p.m. to 7:30, which is based on the data pre-processing, feature extraction, and introduction to ML ops.